this one is going to be a problem. Hey NFI, happy Tuesday, Dave here to talk about living in a fictional universe. Now you may notice I originally had my video scheduled for Thursday, but I've changed it to a Tuesday since I've now claimed every other Tuesday. Just seemed fitting. Before I get to specifics, I would like to first briefly consider what it would mean to live in a fictional universe. I mean, yes, that's very open-ended considering each universe is different, has its own set of rules and physiology and all the rest of it. However, when you consume a piece of media, you are normally introduced to one or two or a set of characters who are at the forefront of this narrative, this story. The problem with that is there is a huge world around them, but you concentrate on those people. When you are in these worlds, does that mean you are a part of that core group who the worlds and the events of that world revolve around? Or are you just some randomer in the background or NPC idling about? I seem to recall Outside Xbox in one of their videos quite a while ago talked about the Power Rangers as an example. Classic series, by the way. In it you follow 5 teens with attitude who become the Power Rangers and fight the evil villains. The problem is, if you're in that world, but you're not one of the Power Rangers or in the villain's party, instead of being in these super cool fights with giant robots and mystical weapons, instead, you're one of those people who lives in a building that's regularly crushed by giant monsters and giant mechs. Or you are constantly menaced by the machinations of an evil tyrant or witch and their evil foot soldiers, which in this case were putty patrollers. I think I would personally like to address the side of that question in that if I was a part of the world, not part of the core dynamic group of characters involved in the narrative, which is slightly more believable in terms of a giant world. You are not just putting yourself straight in the middle of everything that's going on. You are just someone who lives round and about. Someone like me who consumes as much fantasy and sci-fi media as I do, such as the Warhammer 40k universe or the Final Fantasy universe or the Kingdom Hearts universe, I have a lot to choose from, but I think I would settle on the world of Remnant, which was introduced in the series RWBY, created by Rooster Teeth here on YouTube. The best way to describe it would be a computer-generated anime in which a group of huntsmen or huntresses are trained warriors who go around killing creatures of Grimm being these shadow creatures that are attracted to negative emotions. RWBY in itself, for its characters, takes inspiration from so many different other stories, The Wizard of Oz and Pinocchio and the various Disney princesses. All the inspiration comes from the original story source material, not the Disney interpretations of them. One of my favourite characters, who's called Roman Torchwick, who is a villain and a mob boss who was based off a character from Pinocchio, but also his design was loosely inspired by the film A Clockwork Orange. So it's a really complex, massive inspirations. Now, while I wouldn't want to be a part of the main party, because again, I don't like thrusting myself in the middle of stuff here, there are a lot of huntsmen and huntresses in that world. It's a vast world. There's a lot of Grimm. There's a lot of people. There is, in fact, 4 schools that train huntsmen and huntresses. And I would like to think I would perhaps be a character who is training others to be a huntsman, or maybe even just based out of one of those schools being a huntsman, going on adventures and missions. While there is magic present in RWBY, it's really embedded into the actual lore of the show, and most characters can use things called dust, which is like a crystallized version of magic. Other various elements, like fire, wind, water, ice, that kind of thing. Then you get the advanced types of dust like gravity. Each character has 2 elements. They have aura and a semblance. Your aura is described as your soul physically manifesting to protect your body from the forces of Grimm. You could take a gunshot without dying, for example, because it would bounce off your aura, but eventually you take too much damage, your aura breaks, you're susceptible to dying. Semblance, meanwhile, is more like a special ability that each character has. You have people who manipulate probability to create good luck for themselves and bad luck for their opponents. There is a character who controls polarity, or there are others that can create shadow clones in order to escape, or super speed, teleportation, that kind of thing. And the weapons are something else entirely. We are talking a sniper rifle that unfolds into a giant war scythe, a rocket launcher bazooka type weapon that folds in on itself to become a giant baseball bat. I just like the idea of being a huntsman going around destroying the Grimm, trying to scrape out an existence in a hellscape that is Remnant if you're not in a major city. I don't think I'm doing this show justice, to be honest. It's a great show. If you're into anime, you may enjoy it. If you're into fantasy, you may enjoy it. It can be found right here on YouTube, on Netflix, on the Rooster Teeth website. So, have you seen RWBY? Did I do it justice? Did I just ramble for so many minutes without actually making any sense? Thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Brendan, we will see you tomorrow, and I'll see you around another day here on NFI. If I've happened to hook your interest whatsoever, like Roman with his melodic cudgel, which is his walking stick slash cane cannon thing, I would suggest you check out the YouTuber Phoenix Knight 7. As well as holding character polls on people's favourite characters, he also looks really deeply at things like the world building, the characters, the setting, the story, the various what-ifs that could happen. Basically what you would describe as a RWBY theorist and lore YouTuber.